put the HDMI into the bottom. So we're going to need to make a cut hole down the bottom here. And then with the screen itself, we're going to need to widen it. And the way I widen it is I do each side by 2mm. It's probably more like 9mm, maybe 1.8mm, but the 2mm works absolutely fine. So we're going to go 2mm. I'll do that one first. So first thing I want to do, so these are the tools that we're going to be using. So using carving guide tape. Now you need to use this rather than just a masking tape or a sellotape because it's much thicker and you can follow the edges. And you follow the edges with one of these. So this is a scribing knife or scribing pen. It's a tool that's used for like Gundam hobbies where you can create grooves. I won't explain why people do that in stuff, but it's to make lines that look nice. I've got a scalpel and that's just for me to cut stuff. This is a new tool I've got. So this is a brooch, which is quite sharp and it looks pretty good. I haven't used it yet. I think I'm going to try and use that for part of the HDMI. Let's see. I've got 1200 grit, 1500 grit sanding paper on a solid piece of carbon fibre. So it's to keep the edges straight. If you use like one of, let's have a look. So if you're going to use something like this, you might accidentally go too much in one bit and then you're going to have a wonky line. So something nice and flat, quite wide and not too coarse. So a nice fine sand. And then I've got these little clippers here. So these are nippers used for cutting plastic, and I'll be using those at the top here, and then also I think for the HDMI port. I've only done the HDMI port once as a test, so let's see how we go. First of all, I used some 2mm carving tape. Now what I was doing previously and in a previous video was I was measuring 2mm on each side. Took ages. Then I found this 2mm tape. When I say found, I actually already had it. Just didn't think of it. And what I'm going to do is cut some off. So, and then just along the edge here, I'm going to lay that down. Okay, it's going to go along here. I'm just going to pull it up so I can make sure I see it. So you might not be able to see it totally. And okay, so that's now 2mm going all the way along the side there. Okay, so that's going to give us a nice straight edge there. I'm going to do the same the other sides. And all that's going to do is give us a guide for where to cut, sorry, where to put tape. That's not gone on straight. So okay, and I get my 5mm tape. I'm going to put this back away because I don't want the edges to get damaged in any way. There we go. So 5mm tape. The reason why I use 5mm tape is because it's just thicker. So if you accidentally run with your tool over, you've got less room for error. You're not going to scratch the side of the screen. So that's going to go along that 2mm tape. And that gives us the 2mm line that we need. Okay. So now you can take the 2mm tape off. So, and you can bin that, eat it, don't eat it, do whatever you want with it. Do not endorse or condone eating tape. That's another bit of 5mm. That's going to go across this side. And I was asked the question, should you do this before you paint? Yes, if you're going to paint the shell, do it before. Because the absolute worst thing you could do is fuck up a paint job whilst you're doing that and have to do everything all over. If I fuck up now, just get another shell. Time versus money, all that stuff. Okay, now I'm going to get another piece. And I'm going to go across the top so I know where to stop when I'm scribing. So go across like so. And then another piece for the bottom. Okay, so at this stage you want to be as accurate as you can be. It's better to be more cautious than over cautious, if that's the way you say it. So it's better to be over that line because you can go up a little bit rather than be too far under it. Otherwise you're going to get corners that come up and then you've got to do all sorts of sanding, etc. Right, and then the reason why I've got some masking tape is sometimes when you come up you might hit this top piece, so and I have done that in the past and it's very much annoyed me. So all I'm using this for, I suppose you could probably use any masking tape for this, is to just hold it down. So it is sticky, it will stay there, but again, better safe than sorry. So that's just going to hold all of that down. Okay. And this is where the scribing now comes into play. So I'm going to move these tools up here. So if we start on this side, so it's the pointy end goes on there, so you're not going that way like you would with a scalpel, you're going this way, and you put the point in the corner and very lightly, very lightly, going from the top to the bottom. Okay, and that's barely cut anything off. The reason for that is because these first lines are absolutely pinnacle. I am not putting any pressure on here. This is basically the weight of the tool. Now the tool you might get might not be the same tool. As in, you know, it's probably tungsten steel that you're going to get. But this is heavy. I think it's aluminium. It feels heavier than aluminium, but yeah. So you kind of want to go 3 ways, 3 strokes each way. I know that was probably about 4 or 5. Okay, so now that line is there. Don't know whether you can see that. I don't know whether I'm in focus or not, but there's a line going already across. So now I can follow. Again, I'm not applying loads of pressure. I'm purely a very light pressure, I'd say now. That's 3. Count as you go as you want. So you can hear that's going through now, pretty much. That's gone through. So it took about 5 minutes, I think. I have been mumbling and I've been talking a lot during this. I'm not sure whether I'll edit it out or keep it in. When you think you're through, and I am through, just go a few more times, and it just helps with making it nice and neat at the back as well. So that has gone all the way through. One side is kind of done. We're now going to go on to the other side. This side, so the left side, is a bit more difficult So under here you've got these little recesses all the way along. So as you get to the recess, obviously that's going to pull through quicker than the rest of it. So you find you might start to jolt as you're going through. Let's see. Them out. So I'm starting to hit through. And I'm already through on a couple. See that? I'm not sure whether you can see that, hear it. Probably not over me talking. But that's through. That's not. That is. That's not. That is. That's not. So just keep going, even if it's from the start, even though it's from the start. I'll go back. I said to go 3 times each way. I'm sure I've been doing more than 3, but the rule is, well, the rule I made up is you should go 3 from each direction. I think a few is probably a better way of saying it. It's a few. Yeah, it's not 3, but if you go 3, you won't go wrong. If you do a few, if you do 4, 5, I don't think it's gonna. So because I'm through here now, and I'm not here, I'm just lightly going this way until I get through. That's it through. So if you haven't seen the videos on Macho Nacho YouTube channel, or any of his videos, I say go watch them. But otherwise search Sega Game Gear, and he's done a couple of videos where I've made shells for him. One of my favourite shells are still the first one that I sent him. It's incredible. Honestly, took me ages. I'm not sure whether I'll ever be able to make a shell like that again, because it took so long. Right, so we're now through. So you can see here, I'll do this. Well, you might not be able to because it might be out of focus. I don't know. Getting used to this camera. It's my photography camera. I use it all the time, but I've never really used it for video before now. Trying to improve. So this, you can see it's all the way out, and the same with this. Don't pull it, don't snap it. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut plastic out, but we're going to cut just a few mil from the top. We don't need to go right to the top. So, and then the same here. So it's probably about 4 mil. That might even be 2 mil. Oh man, I double my measurements. So, yeah, go watch them. But before you do, just finish watching this, and I don't know. Or don't watch this, just go there, watch that. So now you can see you've got these little nubs. And the reason why we cut, or the reason why I cut it like that, is because when you cut really close, like this, you get no stretch marks or stress marks on the plastic. When you cut between some tight plastic, you do get these little stress marks. You can see there. So it's not as clean as the other side. Yeah. So that's why we do it. That's why I do it. Now these aren't single blade nippers. I'll use these because there's no point people buying 2 lots, or I would just say buy 1 pair. So if you're going to buy 1 pair, buy the single blade. The difference between them is that one's got a blade on one side, so it's super thin, whereas this is 2 thick blades. I'm not sure where they... Can we zoom in? Can we focus? Like that, do it manually. Yeah, like that. So they're the 2 blades. Like that. I'm not sure whether you can see what I mean. So single blade, so that's a blade. This one here is a blade. Anyway, it cuts very, very neatly. These are my damaged ones. These are this is the pair I use for this. Let me get my decent ones, because when they're good and they're not damaged, they don't have bits broken. So then you can just go in and cut straight off. And I'm probably completely out of focus now. Might be in focus, I don't know. I've spent about 3 hours making this video so far because I've had so many issues with that Game Gear that I don't care anymore if it's in focus. But anyway, I'm literally just cutting the edges off. All right, that's done. I'm still going to keep this tape on, okay, because it's still there as a guidance. That's not very close at all. I'm just going to go a little bit closer. So this is a polishing file, and it is actually also a very good file. If you go hard at something, get rid of it. So the nub is pretty much gone. So now I'm just going to go lightly. Okay, and same. So just get rid of these nubs. That's a lovely sound, isn't it? And then this knob. And this knob. Okay, and this file is awesome. Okay. That one, it's gone, it's gone, that one's gone, right. So now I'm just using a normal sanding, a bit of sanding paper on a thing just to make the edges slightly smoother underneath. That's it. That's all I'm doing now. So that's done. That's the window enlarged. There's just one more step that I will do. So we now take off all of the stuff, the things. The carving guide tape is what it's called. Carving guide tape. That's what you're looking for. I'll put some links in the description. None of it's affiliates, so don't worry, I'm not making any money if you click on it. So now we've got the window sized. We just want to sand it off a little bit more, just nice and flat. Like so. Okay, and all I'm doing is just giving it a nice subtle edge like that side. Like I said, so this is like 1,500 or 1,200 grit both, and the reason for that is I don't want to go crazy filing away, because you'll just ruin what you've done. When you've got on this bits of this, easiest way to clean it is to wipe it on your jeans. That basically cleans the file. If you're not wearing jeans, what you're doing with your life. So let's, it's going to be hard to see this, but maybe lightweight. You can see it's quite dull. So what this will do now is it actually polishes it up and brings it back to a normal, nice shiny You may not think it does, but it does. And I'm sure you can use, I think people have used the nail files that women get. I think it's the same thing, it's like a glass file basically. Right, that's that, that's done. That is prepped, it's ready to go, ready to be used. Probably could have been a bit more careful with it. So, the other thing this is great for, so again, a few mil from the top, cut it, you can see, you get your stress marks. You cut again, a little bit lower. Okay, but this isn't the single blade. So, but you don't use your single blade all the time because they are susceptible to breaking. Then when you go for the final cut, which is only a mil or so, I hope this works, I don't want to look like an idiot, and you cut, you can see it's got a tiny little stress mark there, versus the original. Right, yeah, so it looks more like the original versus that first cut that we did. Again, that was a few more mil. The lower you go, the better. Yeah, so that's that. Just don't use those all the time. If anything, use these to get yourself down there, to get down to the bottom. well, a few mil from the bottom. But don't use your nice single blade cutters to do that, otherwise this will happen. So you can see I did it too much and this pair is knackered. Right, and so I know the difference. My good pair get a nice orange top, and they're distinguished as well. So single blade doesn't have the black. That's it. Probably edit that. No one cares. Right, next bit. So what we're going to do next is the HDMI port. So we've got the port there. First thing I'm going to do is, so, right, I do have a Dremel. You could go to town with a Dremel. There's absolutely nothing stopping you. So you want to draw inside of that. We don't want to go around the outside of it. So I'm filling in the piece that we want to remove. So old. Did you see what I did with the lid? There it is. Okay, so this is the shape we want to cut out. Yeah. And we can use these tools again to get where we want to get. Like I said, it creates stress marks. You don't want to go all the way to the bottom to off the line. Just kind of cut out some of the shape, if that makes sense. So I used to have this autofocus, but it was terrible. So I'm not going all the way to the edge, and I'm not going all the way to the bottom, because it creates those stress marks. What I'm doing, oh, see, I've probably gone a little bit too low there. Okay. And then go at an angle, cut those pieces off. There. So we're just starting to cut the hole. I am doing this at an angle, so it is a bit more difficult. Okay, right. Okay, so we've got quite a big gap now. I'm going to use my already damaged ones just to get a little bit closer, and don't twist them like that. It's really bad habit. Like this, backwards and forwards like that is okay. Right, so I think I've done as much as I can without doing too much damage. So next thing you can do is old school, start filing away, and that is what I did. Just do this, and again, if you need to clean it, wipe it on your jeans. You're not seeing me wipe it on my jeans, but it just cleans it. Okay, that's really good. But I got a new tool the other day. Which is this. And it is a, it's like a Dremel, basically. Which doesn't work. Sorry, my phone. But I did. I bought a new tool, and it was working, and then it kept doing loads of flashing yesterday, and now it's not working. Maybe it just needs a minute to charge. Whilst it's doing that, let's just go old school then. Basically, it's Dremel. Which I can also get use, but it's probably just quick to do this. My hand. Okay, so around the edges. Hey, off the edge. Off the edge. Right, let's see. So let's do a bit of that. Let's do that. Just touch more there. Touch more there. Let's see how that looks. With the bit in it. This bit. Jesus. Right. That is pretty good. Fairly happy. Bit more off this side. Touch off here. Touch more off this side. So that should do it. So just blowing some dust off of it. Right, it's come alive. This was the cool tool I was going to show you. So that was it. That's all I wanted to do, was just be like, look, I've got a really cool new toy. It hasn't come that alive, it really needs to charge up. So anyway, we're there, got it. Now we need to sand it. So again, we get a nice little tool that we had. Our glass file, just to polish it up so it looks nice and fancy. Right, so I know I've got dust all over my camera. That's such a stupid thing to do. Do that, and then get yourself a HDMI cable. He says he hasn't got one. Yeah, dog's crying now. Right. There we go. And just check. There you go. fits in. Perfect. Make sure you don't go too far below the metal because it uses the board to stop it coming out. Very clever. Right, I'm gonna just clear up. That's all done. I'm gonna clear up